On behalf of the General Secretariat of the International Commission, I have the honor to welcome you all to this lecture, jointly organized with the Embassy of Japan in Mauritius. Allow me, first of all, to warmly welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan, and to thank the Government of Japan for its continued engagement and partnership with Mauritius, with the Indian Ocean Commission, and with the states of the Western Indian Ocean region, particularly in areas that matter deeply to our member states, such as marine cooperation, fisheries, marine pollution, blue economy. I wish to recall that Japan has observer status to the Indian Ocean Commission. We are equally honored to welcome Professor Hariko Yamashita from Daito Banka University in Tokyo. Professor, we sincerely thank you for being with us today and for sharing your expertise and experience on Japan's vision for advancing blue economy within the framework of fisheries and on free and open Indo-Pacific. Your insights are particularly relevant to our region, where the ocean is both a lifeline and a responsibility. And as you all know, the world is covered by 70% of water, of oceans, and we have only one ocean, though we give 5 names and several seas. I would like also to warmly welcome all participants present today, representatives from government authorities, institutions, regional and international organizations, development partners, the private sector, academia, and civil society. Your presence today with us reflects the shared interest and collective responsibility we all have in shaping the future of our maritime space. This lecture comes at a very timely moment. For the Indian Ocean Commission, today's discussion is not abstract. It speaks directly to the daily realities of our region and I believe the whole world. The role of the Indian Ocean Commission is to be both practical, pragmatic, and essential in addressing the various relating challenges such as IUU fishing, transnational maritime crimes, pressure on maritime ecosystem, marine pollution, etc., etc. I won't go in the details, but then the need to ensure that the development of blue economy impacts directly and positively on our population today and in future. The Indian Ocean Commission acts as a regional coordinator, a platform for cooperation among states in the region and elsewhere, and also a bridge between global initiatives and national realities. Our role is to ensure that policies translate into operational capacity and that regional cooperation drives and delivers measurable results and impacts on the ground and to the populations. In this endeavor, we have to recognize that the sustained support, principally from the European Union, currently under the Port Security and Safe Seas Africa program, are very important to ensure to operationalize the regional maritime security architecture. I would like to reiterate my earlier interventions as the person in charge for maritime security at the General Secretariat of the Indian Ocean Commission, that challenges such as drug trafficking, challenges such as arms trafficking, human trafficking, marine pollution, but also trying to develop resilience against all these different types of challenges and crimes coming from the sea. For all this, we have established the regional maritime security architecture, and that this architecture, to which Mauritius is a signatory, has been spearheaded by the Indian Ocean Commission, to which Japan is an observer, and that this architecture will definitely improve, and we have many reasons to believe that it is the future, to ensure that the governance of the ocean is improved, the way we are managing our maritime zones, and that these maritime crimes and all the various challenges can be collectively addressed, because individually no country can claim to be able to address each of these challenges. Drug trafficking is a global issue, is a global challenge. You cannot have a national action and a national strategy to deal with that. You have to have a global response. Same thing for marine pollution. All the challenges coming from the sea. We'll have to have a regional and international response. And this is what the RMS is about, the regional maritime security architecture. Today's lecture is part of that process. We have to learn from development partners, and hence Japan, how to develop blue economy, and with a focus on fisheries. And this is where we believe very strongly that experiences from elsewhere, from our partners, close partners, is key and important. And we believe that it is the role of the International Commission to facilitate the transfer of the knowledge, the experience of Japan in developing blue economy based on fisheries, and these experiences from the various development partners, that we should be sharing it with our states in this region. Why? Because, as you all know, and this is not new, all the countries in this region have much difficulty in really developing blue economy, including Mauritius. So we have a challenge here. So how do we move ahead? And we believe that by learning from development partners, developed countries, we will definitely make a step forward in ensuring that we advance in the development of blue economy. So we highly value Japan's engagement in blue economy and the dialogue that we have. And working with partners such as with Japan and member states from this region and other development partners, the academia, the private sector, national institutions, to ensure that we proceed and we progress in developing blue economy, address the different maritime security challenges, and ensure that we give tangible results. And in this area, we believe that this talk today, that we will listen from the professor, but eventually, we in our collaboration between IOC and Japan, Mauritius and Japan, bilateral or regional, but we can then walk the talk. In other words, I would expect, and we hope that our dialogue with Japan through the Embassy of Japan here based in Mauritius, that we will define a few action areas following the lecture, that we can sit with. But further to this lecture, let's take some concrete measures in order to progress in this area. So I think that with my introduction on the topic, on the reasons why the International Commission is very much interested to see to it that these partnerships enables also such exchanges, which we hope will continue in future, not just in Mauritius, but also in other countries. But all this will enable us to get a better insight. And hence, let me stop here to welcome first now the ambassador of Japan. I have the pleasure now to invite you to take the floor, and surely you have a few points that you would like to make. So please, Ambassador, come and join me here to make your statement, please. Thank you.
So, Mr. Raj Mohabil, Officer in Charge, IOC, Professor Haruko Yamashita, Daito Bunka University, Tokyo, distinguished guests, good afternoon. I'd like to thank you all for your presence today to the lecture entitled Promotion of Promoting Blue Economy and FOIP, Free and Open Indo-Pacific. Through the advancement of fishery blue economy by Professor Haruko Yamashita of Daito Bunka University. Professor Yamashita is a highly respected expert in fisheries economics, and she brings with her a wealth of knowledge and perspective that will greatly deepen our understanding of the blue economy and its vital role in advancing a free and open Indo-Pacific as envisioned by Japan. We are sincerely grateful to Professor Yamashita for graciously accepting our invitation and for visiting Mauritius as a place to share her expertise. Her visit enriches our dialogue on sustainable ocean development and strengthens the bonds of academic and international cooperation. I also wish to extend my deepest appreciation to the IOC for their invaluable support in facilitating Professor Yamashita's lecture today. Their contribution reflects our shared commitment to regional cooperation and to building a future where the oceans are managed responsibly and sustainably for the benefit of all. Mauritius, with its vast exclusive economic zone and strategic position in the Western Indian Ocean, proudly embraces its role and responsibility as a large ocean state. Hosting Professor Yamashita here shows our commitment to working together, sharing ideas, and building a sustainable future across our regions and oceans. Japan has been a steadfast partner in advancing Mauritius' blue economy. The first grant assistance in Mauritius by the government of Japan was in 1980 to construct the Albion Fisheries Research Center, the management and training facilities for artisanal fisheries, which was also upgraded and renovated later in 2022. In May last year, the Marine Biodiversity Exhibition Facility in Albion was inaugurated, which highlight Mauritius ecosystems from mangroves to corals, and has already received 850 participants to the environmental education session since then. Japan, through JICA, has been collaborating with Mauritius with Mauritian authorities, residents, and fishermen in implementing technical cooperation projects to develop integrated coastal ecosystem management system and to improve livelihood of coastal communities. Not only transferring techniques, Japan has also donated speedboats to National Coast Guard to safeguard its vast exclusive economic zone, combat illegal fishing, and secure maritime trade routes. The idea of maritime security, maritime issues are very broad, including those issues. The grant projects for the coastal surveillance radar system and tugboat are smoothly underway to strengthen maritime security and protect fisheries in Mauritius. These efforts demonstrate Japan's firm commitment to supporting Mauritius' national development and advancing the broader vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Today, Professor Yamashita's lecture will provide valuable insights into New Japan's initiatives in the field of fishery blue economy contribute concretely to achieving our shared goals and shed lights on potential collaborations that we may have in the future. Now, I'd like to invite you to the insights of the Japanese professor. Please join me to extend a warm welcome to Professor Yamashita. Thank you.
It's very beautiful, although I am not a professional photographer. Also, 20 years ago, I visited and stayed for 1 month in the Caribbean country, Trinidad and Tobago. So those are all boats, big ocean, small state. The world was that just I learned yesterday from this. And all of us, including Japan and Mauritius, are all boss. And I am very interested in knowing the situation and the conduct that is carried on in Mauritius as well. Now, next slide. I have prepared today four topics. One is why the government promotes blue economy in coastal areas. The second is the application of blue economy in Pacific Island countries. I'll visit them. The first one is the definition of blue economy in Japan. The second is why the government has to promote the coastal fisheries in blue economy. The third is an application of the blue economy to Pacific Island that I already have visited. And the fourth is an evaluation of the blue economy from the sustainability perspective. Next slide. Starting from figure one, this one. In Japan, there are two different concepts. Umigyo in Japanese and Satoume in Japanese. Umigyo is literally translated as a marine industry. So I put MI here. And Satoume is translated a little bit longer. Beautiful coastal village of my hometown. So I just put hometown. But that's a love to your hometown, which is happen to be in a local life. And most of the Japanese are living alongside the coastal line. Maybe they're not in Mauritius as well. So I see and I are a different concept. But when we integrate it, the fisheries blue economy will be the worldwide work. Let me explain a little bit of each other, of each. One is the marine industry. Is a policy term that aims to make money by fully utilizing the ocean and the coastal areas. It has been existed as a local policy since 1985, but it became a national policy in 2022. Table 1, the next slide. Table 1 lists the businesses envisioned by marine industry. It's a very big table. But all of the examples here, listed here, are the practices that we already have implemented. Let me explain those things one by one with some photos as an example. Next, the first three, those red areas they represent fishery and is directly related industries. Fishes first sell to middlemen and who then sell to processors and proceed from processed products are sold at the retail stores. And that is why, and next to forthright more, forthright proceed to forthright this one, I'll show it later. This one. So the Japanese government, the fisheries agency have conducted a survey of how many percent of the money that retailers have paid is going to the real fishers. And they found in 2009, only 25% of the whole retail price goes to coastal fishers. And all of us were so astonished, of course, coastal fishers are, but the retailers, they were so offended. Oh, no, because of this, and they may not take too much profit anyway. But the share of the fishermen is very low. It improved. Nearly 10 years later, it improved a little bit. And this is a sign that knowing the fact is important. That's doing nothing but knowing the fact will improve the situation. If fishers themselves process fish and sell directly to consumers, their sales and income would increase even more significantly. However, due to the factors such as aging population and a decrease in the number of families living in the same household, extra work required to do so is overwhelming. And therefore, some FCAs, that's a Wind Crop and Fisheries Cooperative Association, in every coastal villages, fisheries villages. And FCA is taking this work, making the processing package, as well as providing the service for sales, the retail supermarket or something. Going back three, the one before this one. Yeah, and so this is an example of wives of fishers are processing their husbands' harvest to bottled fish with the sesame sauce, or this is like ready to cook fish. You put flowers and the fillets of the fish in, then maybe refrigerate or go to the contact freezer and then sell it. This is an example of a Toretto is a market near the coastal villages. And they have this premise, the FCA made up this premise. And each fisherman can sell their product there. As a result, so many people, so many consumers coming from the city area come and eat and buy and take it back. And it became very popular. So those are the examples of direct processing or direct sales. Going back to the big slide, going back to the two slides. To the table, yes. The next one is the tourism. The latter, I don't know, these are tourism or other things that which is indirectly related to fisheries, not direct. Of them, tourism is already an established industry, And so if fishing villages can attract tourists, profits of them can be brought in. I heard that the number of tourists in your country is like 1 million per year or something, and which is as much as your population. That's so many tourists coming. We must learn how to cope with such a big numbers, since some locals are fed up with foreigners and start disliking them. Because after the COVID-19, so many foreigners started to come to Japan, but not many people can speak English. So it takes so much time to communicate, when they go into the restaurant, all the menu are written in Japanese, and but there is no means of explaining what is what. So it is such an big effort to to cope with the foreigners and start disliking and try to eliminate. But it's a sad story. We are not coping with tourism yet. So we have to learn how you manage it. But anyway, Japanese people like to travel to places where the view of the sea is beautiful. In the case of island country like Mauritius, there must be too many scenic spots along the coastline. Visitors eat freshly caught rare fish and coastal restaurants and buy locally cultured pearls or other products as a souvenirs. This is a motivation for fishers to capture and get a benefit out of them. The next slide, two slides. Yeah, this one. This is also the restaurant run by fisher wives, and the restaurant is located within the FCA premise. The people come and eat the freshly cooked raw, no cooked raw fish and some soup. And this is also becoming a tourist attraction. And also, official wives can get some extra money out of it. So this is those are the one examples. Publicity and dissemination. Well, back here, publicity and dissemination does not generate direct profit in themselves. There are indirect economic activities that aim to encourage consumers and their children to become fish lovers for their lifetime. In fact, over the past 30 years, Japanese consumers have significantly moved away from fish. The per capita fish consumption is decreasing annually 2.6% annually, decreasing. And that's why we have to encourage young people to eat more fish. Two slides. And this one. This one is an example of such a demonstration that the fishers go to school. The fish school has like a cooking facility. So fishers bring their harvest, jacks or mackerel, and then teach how to cut out and make fillet. And then those high school students are doing, imitating and doing some cooking, eating fresh fish, raw fish, or frying something. And after this experiment, for the experience of my daughter, they start liking it. They start doing it. They want to do it at home and ask me, go to the market and buy the same stuff as I experienced today. But I don't know what, the fishes brought. But anyway, those are one of the examples, one of the promotional stuff. I don't know whether such a conduct can be introduced in Mauritius or not. And this is an example. The infrastructure development encompasses a wide range of things. In Japan, in particular, during the period of rapid economic growth, that was reclaimed and built factories, power plants, and ports, resulting in the loss of many civil deaths and tidal plants. I don't have a photo or anything. Well, blue carbon is broadly considered a part of the creation of sewage gas. It is important to note that sewage grown to generate revenue from CO2 absorption may not be the same seaweed as growing or to raise the young fish or growing to eat, to harvest and eat. The utilization of fishing ports is probably an issue unique to Japan, as it involves figuring out how to make use of the fishery port infrastructure that has already been built but idle. Because of the number of the fishermen decreased, and then many ports were idle already. While located and then while locating the wind power towers offshore is currently a trend among developed countries as a source of clean energy. Some of these are being undertaken by fishers and coastal residents on their own, but there are some, such as utilization of the fishing ports, where the government has to release the regulation to use not only for fisheries but for some other purposes. The last photo is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, this one is one example of using the fish port for toute, and inviting the ordinary people and the students and inviting the festival things. And then those are the fishing boats. It doesn't move. It is anchored, but the commoners can get on the boat and let them feel like becoming an officer person. So those are the new way of using the fishing boat. So this is the next slide. So the next one is Satoumi or hometown, beautiful hometown. Up here, often referred as HD, hometown. The idea here is that rather than living nature completely untouched, people can live there and make investment by planting, eliminating plants, and cleaning the beach, thereby increasing the productivity of the ocean while protecting nature. There are pros and cons to this idea that human intervention increase fisheries potential. However, we must receive share from the nature to satisfy our daily life, including garments and food in the house. So, for this reason, hometown emphasizes the importance of achieving coexistence, harmonization between people and nature. In fact, JICA idea of fisheries blue economy is leaned more on this hometown idea the marine industry idea. But this is up to your choice, whether you lean more on hometown or marine industry. And anyway, both of them should have a purpose, the economic sustainability and environmental or ecological sustainability. Next slide will explain a little more. Hometown places more emphasis on environmental conservation, environmental sustainability, but this doesn't mean marine industry is ignored. I think the notion of the sustainability is having those two meanings and in my class is more importance of economic sustainability, while SD places more importance on environmental sustainability. I will revisit these two axes later when I evaluate their list for economic projects. These two, HD and MI, is combined from two to make a good economy. Hereafter, I will express blue economy is a notion of a mixture of two concepts. The next slide, Japanese government has had an idea of promoting coastal fisheries for a very long time. I will explain this divided in three different stages. The first stage was an enactment of coastal fisheries promotion act in 1958. That's very long ago. After Japan's defeat in the Second World War II, a food shortage occurred nationwide, and efficient fishery was revived offshore, and many fishing boats on the coast without engines were unprotected, so that local fishers suffered from low income. Fishermen from the snowy north had to emigrate seasonally to get an additional income. And those small photos are expressing how they defray their extra income. One is in the construction work in the city area, and the other is in a big potato sales in the city area as well. Because in the snowy north area, there is no way of going fishing or cultivating any gardens or anything. They took a variety of jobs, so from construction to sweet potato sales. Therefore, the government provided loans for the purchase of fishing boats with the engine and provided support of fishing techniques with the aim of increasing fishermen's income and improving their lives through the improvement of the productivity. This morning, and also yesterday, I inputted some of the Mauritius coastal fisheries policy. And also, you are subsidizing coastal fishers for purchasing a new boat and give some dividends for fishers who cannot go fishing because of the cyclone or something. So the studies that we experienced is quite similar to what you have experienced. The era of high economic growth thereafter means the second stage. Young people born in a rural area and no longer inherit fisheries but work in cities, eliminating the overpopulation of fishing villages. It existed here, but not anymore here. But if no one maintains the coastal fisheries, and then the fresh domestic seafood will no longer be supplied to the nation. So the government mission is to promote coastal fisheries. continued, but for the different reason for the first stage, just in order to maintain the national supply of fish, they are continuously promoting and supporting coastal fisheries. In recent years, on the third stage, the number of fish caught has decreased due to the increased productivity of fishing boats, resulting in overfishing as well as the changes in the sea environment, such as global warming. Fish prices are also low due to the competition with affordable imported fish and other protein sources. In order to do the competition, maintaining fishing villages in such a different situation, it is necessary again to seek more source of income other than fishery. In this way, though the reason for the promotion of fishing village have changed over time, promotion measures still need to be up to date. The next slide will show what about the Mauritius. I heard that some Pacific Island countries that there are some similarities and difficulties with the steps that Japanese coastal fishery have taken so far. The common issue that they address is two topics. One is the supply of domestic fish to domestic self-sufficient. And the other is the creation of jobs. What about Mauritius? Of course, there are differences depending on the country. Some people say we should fish more reef fish, while others say better way to post-harvest and sell reef fish is more important. Since reef fish is already overfished, go to the offshore is more important. So it depends on the country, and I've heard that in Mauritius, the government is promoting to go offshore fishing or semi-industrial fish out of reef fish because the reef fish is over exploited. So it depends on the country's needs. Some people tell that if fishes can go live offshore, they could catch skipjack from the abundant resources so that they take it home and sell. All of these are probably based on the idea that the countries should reduce their dependence on imported food and increase their domestic supply. There are various opinions about the employment as well. The idea is that having enough domestic employment is politically the most important because it leads to social stability. Or that the country wants to secure not only coastal fishing work but also working opportunity of foreign fishing vessels that operate within their EEZ. Rather than selling our skipjack and tuna cod within the EEZ to the third countries, foreign vessels should bring some of the harvest back to the home country, to the country of origin to create processing work. In some countries, such conduct is already realized. I will tell you later. And I heard unemployment rate is somewhat around 6% in Mauritius. It is not very high. So the job creation will not be a key issue. But the variety, making variety of livelihood for coastal fishery is the main issue in Mauritius. And in the case of Japan, this is the same thing. On the other hand, high income earned by working overseas work, supports full true life for families. living at home and increased options for their children's education. A variety of work-based experience overseas will function as an on-the-job training. Also, there is an aspect of security for a family to live in different places. If everyone returns home, the island could be overpopulated in the very small island countries in the Pacific. If fisheries become profitable enough, it will attract return residents to start fishing, then make pressure on the resource and the harvest increase too much, as it did in Japan in the past. So, as the objectives of fishing village promotion differ to some extent among countries, they will agree that aim is to increase income and fully utilize domestic marine resources efficiently. However, while Japan is now shifting its focus from fisheries to alternative livelihood and aiming to increase the population of fishing villages, not decreasing them, increasing the population of fishing villages. In Mauritius, focusing on promoting fishery and seafood processing sector, aiming to increase employment and food supply in line with the natural population growth. Is my observation correct or not? The next slide, let me drop by a side topic about the remote island policy for your information. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce three measures in this one here. In the basic fisheries plan in Japan, planned and established in 2022, and lasts for 5 years until 2027. They are the following. One is to promote fisheries as it's a key industry for remote islands because they do not have any other means of income. The second is leasing fishing boats and gears. Those are expensive, so lease. And newcomers can easily settle down and start fishing. And the third is that support the effort of those who newly engaged in marine industry, not fisheries itself, but the marine industry. In addition to the fisheries, to create employment in islands that determine national border. The national border is determined by the remote island located outer places of the main island. So it is important. The next slide will explain our situation that we are also the archipelago, and here the main islands are pretty big, but we have more than 14,000 remote islands around here and here and here and here, and a little bit here. We are and also surrounded by large countries, and the Pacific, the EEZ of the Pacific Ocean side is kept pretty peacefully, but the area here surrounded by big countries, we are not settled down. We cannot make a line. We cannot put the line. It is it's a theoretical border, but the actual border has not been settled since 1996, when we signed on the Law of the Sea of the United Nations. I learned both big, big oceans, small states. It is also applied to Japan. compared to the land area of the continent. Our land area is 380,000 kilometers, and our EEZ is 11 times as much. That means 4.3 million. And that's 11 times as much as the land area. And I've heard in Mauritius you have a pretty big EEZ, and with 200%, 200 times, 1,000 times as much as the land. And so this is the situation that I just explained. And going to the next one, this is the Pacific Island. And there are many Pacific Island countries, maybe more than you expected beforehand. And you can identify where it is. This is Australia, New Zealand, and this is Pasadena, Mexico. So there are small dotted countries around here, but their EEZ is vast. And there is no, a little bit of the free area that everybody can fish. Around here, a little bit around here, but otherwise all are surrounded and occupied by the EEZ of the small island country area. And the next slide is a comparison of the scale of Pacific Island countries. There are 3 different regions: Micronesia, Melanesia, and Polynesia. Those are the named countries, and the land area here, like Nauru and Pakilan. This is only like 21 square kilometers, but they have a vast EEZ area. But they are actually making a good money, good profit out of their resource. They are fully utilized by let foreign vessels catch skipjack and tunas, yellowfin tunas. Those tunas are not taken back to their original countries, but they are brought to the countries where the canned tuna is made, such as Thailand, Spain, and Portugal. But they have a device called vessel day skill, VDS, vessel day skill. They charge nearly 1 million yen. That means 10,000 US dollars per day per foreign vessel. So that is a way that they share the profit between the island nations and the foreign vessels. Next slide. In this section, I will focus on Japanese and some Pacific Island countries' experience. Those are the same as I denoted before, but those are the practices that the Pacific Island remote nations and the Japanese remote islands are practicing. And for example, let me give you some of the red examples. For example, in Palau, they are facilitating giant clam seed production and farming. And the giant clam, I put the photo several slides before. But anyway, they are doing it. The JICA is helping for the raising the giant clam. It is good because you can eat the meat, and also you can use the shell as a dish or a souvenir, because it's very nicely designed naturally. Other maybe example is that the public consumer market is established in Solomon Island, and the lobsters and mangrove crab sales at the marina is going on in coastal state of Micronesia. State of Micronesia, there are 4 different states, and because it's coastal state, they are allowed to sell directly the lobsters and mangrove crabs. That commands very high price. Other example is that Fiji, Chu Yap Palau, those are the tourist attractions, and they operate they accept many tourists and sell directly to the tourists or the local restaurants. So those are the practices. But some of the practices like the dissemination of public creation, I don't know whether they are doing it. I just showed the high school those kind of practice. I don't know. We don't know. When I make this table, OFCF staff helped me. OFCF is Overseas Fisheries Foundation, giving giving technical support to some Pacific countries. There is one example of there is one example that I wanted to mention, but it is not written here, or I cannot find it. But in Nauru, the fishers are making a direct sales in a very, very new way. They take photos of their harvest on board and then put it on Facebook, and then with price. Then the people in the Nauru Island, they watch it and then decide whether to buy this one or the other one. After they are landed, then people come, the people who reserve the harvest will come and buy, or the fishers themselves deliver to their customers. So it's a kind of direct sales using the IT technology. So those are the examples. So I just make it bigger. The next slide also, I make the slide bigger. So I will not refrain the same thing. Let me go to the this one. In the last part of my lecture, let me evaluate the economy project. That's because influences that is in the decision we should take this part. Public or private, fishes or the industry. Among various axes of evaluation, I picked up how much cost is needed, big amount of cost is needed, then I put L. Then how much effort is needed? The big effort is needed, and then I put L. And the time of the duration of the time until the effect, apparent effect comes out. And if it exceeds 1 year, I put the L. And within the year, you can see the result to the effect. Then I put the S. So among various axes of the evaluation, I picked up how much cost and how much effort, duration before finding the good effect, in addition to economic sustainability and environmental sustainability. Table 4, this one classifies blue economy according to those axes. and processing and selling small fish here is to visitors to fisheries villages and simple restaurants that do not make fancy dish, but just grill the fish that they caught. Those are the cost of starting that kind of business is not very big, and the effect will be seen very rapidly. Well, if they are income inclusive, then you can judge it as an effective way. There are already good examples, so why not have the local government identify them and introduce them to the public, like here in those places. But it makes people happy. There are so many people come to observe the good examples, and the coastal officials become busy for explaining their conduct. But then also it makes them happy and gives some pride, because we are practicing an excellent conduct. Is will give them good pride, and that's also important. Surveying catch volumes and organizing fisheries association do not require much money, but they will not be sustainable without the cooperation and the continuous effort of fishers. And it will take time for the effects to become apparent. I think it will be a good idea to start by training local leaders in these areas. In my experience observing fishing villages in the Philippines, the leader was a retired local government official. Under her guidance, the wives of fishers began recording their husband catch. While it was a pain to obtain their husband catch because the husband did not want to tell, but the amount of sales is and the amount of catch that they caught around and taking the note daily, accumulation of this data becomes useful for household management in the end of the day. The compound results become a local fishery data. But with smartphone in hand, recording and complying data should be even easier. This is a draft that I prepared, but yesterday and today I found that in Mauritius, you don't have this kind of difficulty anymore. But maybe you have a role to disseminate your good practice to the other countries around Indian Ocean. And in that case, the behavior of coastal fishers in other countries may not be the same as what your coastal fishers have done, have accomplished. And in that case, the example that I showed in the Philippines will be helpful for to start with. In contrast, the next this one, yeah, in contrast, research surveys and creation of seaweed beds and tidal flats require both money and specialized knowledge, and it takes a long time to see the result. That is not directly, that does not bring the direct monetary results either. This is where the national government undertake nationwide projects. I believe the Ministry of Blue Economy is taking this role. There is a possibility of obtaining financial and human resource coverage, partially from foreign governments and private companies. I'm not saying that Japan will fund this project, but and also the research in Mauritius water and the improvement in the fisheries environment will have a proliferating effect, benefiting the entire Indian Ocean. Remember that the Japanese government is promoting FOIP, free and open Indian and Pacific Ocean. For example, an Indian Ocean is connected to Pacific Ocean. So Pacific fisheries will also be benefited by the good practice of Indian Ocean. On the other one, but why do companies contribute to the cost? For example, if they install propellers for offshore wind power generation, they need to pay a compensation to fishers, local fishers. One way to use the money is to create seaweed-based or tidal floods. In order to calculate the amount of compensation, it is necessary to explain how much fish is caught and how much money they earn already. Baby catch vehicles that you already have taken, but not taken in many countries, will provide good data for the compensation. This is the last part. Oh, sorry. This is the last part. In this way, maybe the next slide is the last slide. In this way, by wisely combining expensive project with an immediate result and project that requires a lot of money and a long period of time, a synergetic effect will emerge in the fisheries blue economy. And we will be able to achieve economic sustainability that eventually circulates autonomously without the researchers from African continent. And my dream, well, without government support, my dream is that I come to know the technicians and researchers from African continent visit Mauritius to learn the steps toward African way of brew economy. Japan has been cooperated with Mauritius through the season kept friendly relationship for quite a long time. We appreciate your generosity at the time of oil spill accident from Wakashio. And that was a time the majority of Japanese, young and old, came to know the name and the location of Mauritius. Today, actually, I wore a shirt of Japan Salvage. That's the name of the company, salvage company who was seconded in Mauritius. And this is the uniform that they used to wear. The reason I wear this is that it happened. The husband of my daughter is working in the Japan Salvage, and he was wearing it. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to Mauritius. Why you wear this? He didn't go to for Wakashio incident, but the people in the at least in the Japan Salvage is still remembering and doing the same good thing when such an oil spill accident happens in other part of the world. Japan has been we appreciate about the Wakashio thing. And fisheries. Also, I heard fisheries that Japan fishing facilities that Japan donated in 1990s, such as fish landing site and freezers, or the fish research premise that I visited this morning, and it is still used and maintained so nicely. and a Japanese donor of that time appreciating and thanked for your endeavor to maintain those facilities in force. JICA expert told me that projects such as Sustainable Coastal Ecology Management System or Sustainable Development of Coastal Blue Economy and Improvement of Livelihood are carried on smoothly as a result of your understanding and cooperation. I hope such good relationship is strengthened through FOIP. I hope my talk today provides some insight. Thank you very much. Oh, any questions? Or a comment? Oh, there are some people raising hand. Oh, you need this one.